After this big celebrity tells me to leave, I leave. But 2 hours later, he's asking me to go back to his hotel room. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. So I went back to his hotel room even though he was a little bit rude. I just couldn't give up the opportunity of dating a celebrity. I show up to his hotel room and he apologizes. He said that he has trust issues from all his past relationships. Then I pointed out to him that he had the hotel room ready to go and that it happened to be just by the bar we were at. He stays quiet and then he says, I need you to sign this NDA. I read it and signed it, mostly because I just didn't want any trouble. Then he says, hey, I want to order dinner for us. What do you want to eat? Then he said he wanted to wine and dine me. He said that he liked me, but the whole NDA thing really threw me off. We ended up watching a movie and then I go back to my place. The following day he calls me and asks me if I want to hang out again. We had lunch and then I told him I had to go home. He's been asking me out ever since, but I don't know. I kind of get a bad feeling from him. What do you guys think I should do? He is a celebrity. If someone tells you, why are you always doing the most? Why are you so extra? Why do you always go out of your way to look so good? They're envious! They don't want you to look good. Don't be afraid to be doing the most. Don't be afraid to be the baddest bitch in the room. And by that, I mean the prettiest, the best dressed, the best makeup, the best hair. I go to so many events and I see so many girls that look fabulous, absolutely fabulous from head to toe. And every time I do, I'm like, damn, okay, next time I'm gonna do my hair better. Next time I'm gonna take more time to do my makeup and my hair and pick out a better outfit and get some more accessories. This is the type of thing that sets you apart. And no, I'm not talking about doing it for men. I'm not talking about doing it for your boyfriend or to try to attract your crush. No, do all the things that make you feel good for yourself. If that means more skincare, more makeup, investing in your skincare. When I moved to LA in 2010, I had this rule where I wouldn't leave my apartment unless I felt great about what I was wearing and how I looked. When I started implementing this into my life, I started getting things. For example, I went to a cafe the first week I moved to LA and a makeup artist happened to be in there. And she came up to me with a photographer and she's like, hey, we have a photo shoot and we really love your look. We'd love for you to be in the photo shoot. I'm gonna find those pictures and I'm gonna put them up here right now. I was giving off that energy, you know? I walked into that cafe and I looked fabulous and they were like, damn, look at her, like she looks great. And that's what I mean by looking your best and not being afraid to look good all the time and doing the most. I know that on here I'm self-care sister, but I'm self-care sister every day in life. I have a dedicated morning and night routine where I do all of my stuff, including face massages, face yoga, lymphatic drainage, red light therapy, skincare, body care, hair care, every single day. The quality of your life is just gonna be better if you feel good about yourself and if you take care of yourself and if you prioritize yourself. So the next time you start feeling down or you're depressed or you're anxious or work stuff starts happening and you're frustrated, just start taking care of yourself.
Story time about how my mom got with my sister's boyfriend. So a little background information. I was 13 and in 8th grade, and my sister was a senior in high school and she was 17. And my sister always had a new boyfriend. Like after 3 months of dating somebody, they would break up and then she would be with a new guy a month later. And this started whenever she was a sophomore. So yeah, she had a lot of boyfriends. Anyway, so she had started dating this boy, and we're gonna call him Ben. Well, lucky for Ben, whenever they started dating was right around the time when we were supposed to go on our vacation that we take every year. So my mom and dad said that he could come with us. So my sister, who we're gonna call Emily, she decided to bring Ben, and I decided to bring one of my friends, Carly. We drove down, everything was good for the first 2 days, and usually what would happen on this vacation is my dad would end up staying at the hotel and doing work while we were all out doing stuff. So my mom, Ben, and Emily were all out drinking at the bar 24/7. Like for part 2. Story time. Everybody's saying that I cheated on my ex-boyfriend, but I want your guys' opinion. So a little background information. I was a college student, and I had been with this guy who we're going to call Jacob for about 6 months. Towards the end of his and I's relationship, stuff just started to get really boring, and every day I would get the ick from him. Now, at this time also, I had gotten a new job. While I was working, I had met this guy who we're going to call Tim. Since I was a college student, I decided to start working more, so Tim and I would see each other literally every day. Him and I really hit it off, like straight away. Not to mention, him and I had a lot of things in common, his sense of humor was great. Well, the one night before work got out, Tim asked for my number, and I said yes. However, since I was still with Jacob, I decided that I was going to break up with him before I texted Tim. So, I broke up with him. Fast forward to now, Tim and I are in a super good relationship. But now everyone's saying that I cheated on Jacob. What do you guys think? Story time about how I almost got kidnapped by my online boyfriend. So a little background information. I was 16 and in 11th grade. So a year before this all happened, I posted a picture on Instagram saying, add me on Snapchat if you want to be friends. Yes, I was that person. Anyway, so this really cute guy adds me on Snapchat. And after about 3 months talking, he said that he wants to meet me in person. And he didn't sound sus at all, so I was like, sure. So we met at this park that was like 30 minutes away. And we met there around 6 o'clock, so when the sun was setting. And he was super nice. It was super romantic. Well, then we went to his house. We watched a movie and we did the nasty. So after that, he asked me if I want a drink. And what I could have swore was 20 minutes later, I wake up in an abandoned farm shed with no clothes or anything. So I start screaming my head off. I don't have my phone or anything, so I start to run. And then he grabs me. He says, if you try to run or you try to scream, I am going to kill you. Like for part 2 about how my mom got with my sister's boyfriend. So like I said, Emily, Ben, and my mom were out drinking 24/7 at the bar. And since this was a vacation that we took every year, my sister already knew a bunch of people down there. The one night my mom started feeling really sick at the bar, so Ben offered to take her back to the hotel. And at this time, my friend, my dad, and I were all down at the buffet in the hotel. So Ben took my mom upstairs to our hotel room, and my dad was like, oh, do you guys want to walk down to the fair? We said yes, so he told us to go upstairs and get his wallet. So my friend and I go up in the elevator to our room, and I want to say this was about 20 or 30 minutes after Ben and my mom had went upstairs. So we get into the room, we hear the shower running, which was weird because we didn't think anybody was there. So instead of me calling my dad because it might have been a murderer, I go, and the door slightly creaked open, so I look through the door, and obviously I could hear you know what, but hers and his clothes were on the floor. Like for part 3. Part 2 about how I almost got kidnapped by my online boyfriend. So like I said, I wake up in this abandoned farm shed. I don't have no clothes. I don't have a phone. So I try to run and he grabs me. He says that if you run, I will kill you. So I was like, okay, fine. What do you want from me? So he starts putting on lingerie and tells me to also put some on so we can take pictures together. What the actual you know what? So after that, he starts crying and he starts telling me his whole life story and how he's not who I think he is. Turns out that he's 32 and he just goes online pretending that he's 17 years old. So I just try to comfort him, right? It ends up working. He brings me my clothes, tells me to run, or else he's going to, once again, kill me. So I run, I go to this gas station, get picked up by the police, find my parents. Luckily for me, I paid attention to where everything was. He was arrested, he's still in prison to this day, and I got grounded for 3 months. Story time of why it's never good to be in a best friend group of 3. So a little background information. I was in 4th grade and I was 9 years old, about to turn 10. Now I know you're thinking, that's really young. Well sis, I was just smart enough to see the red flags early on, unlike half of you who probably didn't see them. Anyway, so I had 2 friends we're going to call the one Becky and the one Mia. Now let me tell you a little bit about Becky. Becky was kind of a bitch. Now anytime that she saw Mia and I having our own conversation, she would pretty much bully us. And she would have 2 of her other friends tag along and do it also, Brooklyn and Riley. So the one day we're walking to PE and Mia and I are having a conversation. And in our gym class, you had to line up in groups of 3. So it would go Mia, Becky, and then me. Well, because I wanted to finish my conversation with Mia, I decided to sit in Becky's spot. So we're sitting down and then Becky marches over to where we're sitting and just stands there and stares at us. Then she walks away and goes and sits with her other friends. And at the end of gym class, she comes back over to us. Like for part 2. Part 2 about why it's never going to be in a best friend group of 3. So like I said, Brittany hated it whenever Mia and I would have our own conversation. And I sat in Becky's spot in gym class. And then she got mad at us because I wanted to finish my conversation with Mia. So she goes over with her other friends that literally bully Mia and I. So at the end of gym class, she walks up to both of us with Brooklyn. And she literally is just standing there. And then Brooklyn goes, do you need me to do it for you? Me and I look at each other like, what the fuck is going on? And then Brittany's like, no, I just wanted to tell you guys that I don't want to be friends with you anymore. She was like, you guys are just so fake. Like, you never include me in anything. Which was completely not true, but we were like, whatever. So then the next day at school, Brittany comes up to Mia and I, and she's like, hey guys. Like, this bitch was bipolar as fuck. And we're like, we thought you didn't want to be friends with us anymore. And she was like, no, I just meant I didn't want to be best friends. Story time about one of the most embarrassing things that has ever happened to me in high school. So a little background information. I was in my freshman year of high school. Well, spring break was coming up. Well, the whole year, my friend and I hadn't been to one single party. So we decided that we wanted to try and go to a party every single day of spring break. Which was about to be super difficult because we had to worry about my strict-ass parents and my neighbors. A little background info on my neighbor. My neighbor is this girl who's in my same grade and she literally hates my guts. I don't know why, but literally anything that I do, she'll go and she'll tell her mom, and then her mom will tell my mom, because my mom and her mom are best friends. But before we know it, Saturday comes around, and we go back to school on Monday. We did not make it to one single party. Well, later that night, we found out that one of our friends was throwing one. So around 11 o'clock, everybody's sleeping, and I walk out my back door, hop over my fence, and I start heading towards the road where my friend was going to be parked. You know, who do I see fucking sitting outside on their porch reading a fucking book? My fucking neighbor. Life for part 2. Part 2 about the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me in high school. So like I said, the bitch that I hate is sitting out on her porch reading a fucking book at 11 o'clock at night. So I crouch down so she couldn't see me. I run to the car, and my friend and I finally go to the party. Well, we get to that party and it's really boring, so we decided to go to a different one. And the party that we were about to go through was being thrown by the kid that I really liked. So I start hanging out with him when we get there. I'm drinking a lot, having so much fun, and I really have to go to the bathroom. And I didn't know where anything was at all, so I grabbed my friend and we're looking around everywhere for the bathroom. Because when I asked him, he was super drunk and really couldn't explain to me where the bathroom was. So we were pretty much left to fend for ourselves. But we ended up not being able to find a bathroom, and this is where I had to improvise. So my friend and I go to the laundry room, and we see the litter box in there for the cat. Well, at this point, I was desperate, so I just went in the litter box. Well, 30 minutes later, the cops show up to the party. And everybody had to hurry up and leave because we did not want to get underages. Like for part 3. Part 3 about the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me in high school. So like I said, I went in the litter box, and then the cops showed up. We all ran because we didn't want to get underages. I was able to sneak back into my house without anybody knowing. But when I get to school on Monday, everybody's talking about the party. And apparently the kid that I liked who threw the party, his parents didn't know that he threw one at all. And this was like during first period. So I went to text him and ask him if he was grounded because we were supposed to hang out the next day. And I realized that I am blocked. So I'm thinking, what the fuck, why does he have me blocked? So I told my friend that he blocked me, and she goes, it's probably because he saw what you did in the laundry room. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, there's no fucking way that he knows. Because there was a door that led to the outside in the laundry room, there were cameras in there. So everybody saw this video of me. People were posting it on their Finstas, posting it on their Snapchat stories. It was so fucking embarrassing. Not to mention, the bitch that I hate who lives next door showed my parents the fucking video, and I was grounded for fucking 4 months. Okay, part 2. Okay, so pretty much what happened after that is she called and like she found out that it wasn't my dad. And then she went digging and like she like called my sister to the office and she was like, what's your dad's phone number? And my sister was like, why? Like, don't you guys have it already? And I also put the same numbers for my sisters so that way in case this day came, then, you know, it wouldn't look suspicious. Well, I don't know what she threatened my sister with, but she scared the hell out of her, so she gave her my dad's number. And so my sister told me whenever she got home, so I went to school the next day. And it was like a surprise party whenever I walked in the office. The dean was there, the principal was there, and my guidance counselor. So I got in trouble and then they were like, oh, we're calling your dad. So what did I do? I left before they called him. Story time about how I got caught skipping school almost every day of my senior year. So our school had just started this new thing where you fill out all your contact information online. And my dad was like, okay, yeah, just fill yours out. And it pretty much was who can pick you up, who can make early dismissals for you, who they can call if you're in trouble. Well, I decided to be a sneaky little bastard and put my boyfriend in for every single one of those contacts. I would start school around 7:30 a.m. and I would go to the nurse's office at like 9 a.m. and she would call and my boyfriend would act like my dad and be like, okay, yeah, just let her drive home. Well, my guidance counselor noticed after about 3 months of me never being at school. So she called the number hoping to speak to my dad. But instead she got my boyfriend. And he just thought it was a random person so he didn't act like my dad. Because neither of us knew. Like for part 2. Storytime about my experience with karma. So a little background information. I was 17 and in 11th grade. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a mean person. Well, not kind of, I just was mean. Like, I got joy out of annoying and making fun of people. Yeah, I know there was something probably wrong with me. Leave me alone. Anyway, so I would low-key always bully my cousin. And when she would get upset about it, I would make it seem as if it was a joke. Well, I guess the one day she had enough of me because there was this boy that I really liked and we didn't know each other at all. Like, we had never spoken one word to each other. and my cousin knew that I liked this boy, so she decided that she was going to email him asking him out. And no, this isn't one of those situations where she tried to steal the guy that I liked. Nope, instead she went on my email and emailed him acting like me. Sis must have been determined to get her lick back because I don't even know how she knew the password to my email. So the next day at school, him and I are in citizenship, and we're all on our laptops for this lesson. Well, all of a sudden, I hear him whisper my name to the popular girl that sits next to him, like for part 2. Part 2 about my experience with karma. So like I said, I heard him whisper my name to the popular girl that sits next to him, and she has never liked me. I never bullied her. I know I said I was a mean person, but I didn't bully her. She just hated me. So of course she thinks it would be funny to confront me in front of the whole class, and she's like, why would you email him asking him out? Not only was I embarrassed, but I was shocked because I was like, what are you talking about? Honestly, I thought that they were lying, so I was like, whatever, I'll check when I get home. Well, when I went home that day and checked my email, what do you know? There it is. An email sent from my laptop saying, hey, I really like you. Do you want to go out with me? I forget how, but I found out that it was my cousin. I didn't do anything to her because the damage was already done at that point, but I got bullied so bad for the rest of that week. And I don't even know why. Everybody was being so extra about it. It's not like this kid had a girlfriend or anything, but people were whispering rude things to me in class. And the one day that week while I was in the locker room, that popular girl starts yelling that I have blood on my pants. Like, she screamed it so loud, everybody heard it. And I tried asking my cousin if there was anything. She was ignoring me. So now on top of the whole email situation, I was dealing with that. Obviously, eventually everything died down, but I definitely learned my lesson and I am no longer a bully. Storytime about my psycho boyfriend and backstabbing best friend. So a little background information, I was 17 and in 12th grade, and we're going to call my best friend Sheila. And she had just met this guy who was, quote, the love of her life on this vegan Facebook page. Well, the one day while they're on FaceTime, his best friend Brad saw what I looked like and he wanted my phone number. Fast forward, she gives it to him and I start talking and we hit it off instantly. I definitely thought that he was boyfriend material because even though we lived like 5 hours away from each other, we would Skype for like 9 hours a day, every day. Fast forward to my birthday, we make things official, and he wanted to see me for my birthday, so he decided to get a hotel room for us. So finally, him and I meet in person, and we end up doing the nasty. And it was terrible, but he was my boyfriend, so Well, after this, he ends up becoming weirdly obsessed with me. He starts saying things like the next time that he comes and sees me, we're gonna get married. After talking to Sheila about it, I decided to break things off with him because things were moving way too fast and it freaked me out. After I told him this, he started sobbing. He was like, I wish I would have got you pregnant so that way you couldn't leave me. And I'm in shock because, dude, it has been 3 months. You need to calm down. Like for part 2. Part 2 about my psycho ex and my backstabbing best friend. So like I said, Sheila convinced me to break up with him, and I did. Fast forward, Sheila becomes super distant with me, and she's posting stuff on her Facebook like, oh, when your new boo gives you his hoodie. And her man had broke up, so I texted her asking who it was about, because I'm her best friend, duh. Finally, a few days later, after she was done avoiding me, she decides to answer with, we need to talk. I slept with Brad, and now him and I are in love with each other. And I'm like, what the hell happened to girl code? Like, yeah, I didn't want him, but at the same time, you're a snake. Like, ew. Anyway, so then she starts saying things like he's the best boyfriend and the reason why I'm single is because I wasn't appreciative of him. I ended up messaging her ex and telling him what happened, and to get our get back, we slept together. Fast forward, a month goes by and then I get a text from Sheila and Brad on the same day saying that they broke up because both of them cheated on each other. And it was quite comical because Brad's like, yeah, you were the best girlfriend I ever had, and then Sheila's like, yeah, you were my best friend. I don't know why I would do that to you. I told both of them to F off, and then I told her ex what happened. So him and I laugh about it, and then 2 days later, I get a text from him saying that him and Sheila are getting married. Yeah. Story time. My best friend slept with my boyfriend on my birthday. So a little background information. I was 16 and a sophomore in high school. Well, I had this best friend who we are going to call Sarah. Her and I became super close over the summertime, but she was like on and off best friends with this other girl who we're gonna call Mackenzie. But I had this boyfriend who I was also really on and off with. And Sarah knew about all the problems within our relationship. Well, I guess I underestimated how close Sarah and Mackenzie were, because everything that I told Sarah, she went back and she told Mackenzie. And not to mention, Mackenzie was really close with my boyfriend. So of course, she told my boyfriend everything that I was saying. This ended up causing a huge fight between my boyfriend and I. Well, the night before my birthday, my boyfriend and I were going back and forth arguing. And around 12 a.m., on my birthday, I forced myself to fall asleep. And at around 1 a.m., I woke up to 20 Snapchat notifications, all from my boyfriend. And when I opened them, I saw the worst thing ever. Like for part 2.
Get ready with me for a red carpet. I did a lot of prepping. I curled my extensions. So I went to the gym, I showered, now I'm gonna do skincare. It's for the premiere of Flaming Hot and it's gonna be an orange carpet. So I want my face to look really hydrated and dewy. This is the Plump Plump Serum from Glow Recipe 2. Glow Recipe Vitamin C Serum. Plump Plump Hyaluronic Cream, also from Glow Recipe. SPF. Everyone is going crazy over this. Glowy. Sorry. I just signed up for VIX. It's that streaming platform just for telenovelas. It's free. Like, you can watch whatever telenovela you want for free. They do have a premium one, but I'm not gonna pay for that. You just have to watch ads. Who cares? I'm watching Clase 406, Marimar, Lo que la vida me robó, Teresa, Rubí, A Mil por Hora. Oh my god, I cannot wait to watch A Mil por Hora. The invite for the event said business casual. I almost died when I read that because I have been planning my outfit now for like 2 weeks. I got it custom made for $25 in Nicaragua. That's how cheap it is over there. But I designed it myself. I went to get the fabric. I got the lace. I'm trying to give myself like maybe 3 hours to do my hair, my makeup. So right now I think I'm just gonna eat. I'm actually gonna sit down and watch a movie. I don't ever do that during the week. I don't ever allow myself to just relax that way. But I'm going to, because when I'm going to events and I'm rushing to try to get ready, I usually tend to get a little bit stressed out, and I'm trying to avoid that so much right now. Anything that stresses me out or makes me anxious, I'm just trying to completely avoid. Got this in the mail. Wella Ultimate Repair Miracle Hair Rescue Treatment Capillaire. I have no idea what this is. It's been a couple of hours. I'm now starting to work on my hair. I have about 3 hours and 20 minutes to get ready, which will include makeup, hair, and getting dressed and filming a couple of videos of me getting dressed. So I need volume for this event. I want volume. By the way, I have the Last Magic Mike playing in the background, and oh my god, this movie is so freaking hot. The first scene with Salma Hayek and Channing Tatum. Ah! This just might be the longest get ready with me ever. I'm pushing the root up and then out. You see? Whoa! Okay, so I'm gonna take this piece at the crown and I'm gonna actually put more into it as well. What if I show up and there's like no red carpet? Wow, that does look voluminous. I'm using the beach waver. I'm gonna put some Clase 406. So this is when I'm gonna fill in my hairline with some powder. This is the Me Cosmetics. I live and die by this. It's actually a foundation for the scalp. Yeah, these curls are so freaking tight. I'm gonna do La Roche-Posay Double Wear Face Moisturizer. I got NYX, the brow gel, wet Q-tip, and I'm gonna clean the edges of the brows so that I make sure there's no glue on there because I do not want it to make the eyeshadow look patchy. Take a tiny bit of the moisturizer. I'm just gonna pat it over my lids and right underneath the brows just because I've cleaned that space and I don't want just dry skin to work on, to ensure that everything flows and blends in really nicely. I'm taking a tiny bit of this Essence Cosmetics foundation. I really, really like this. 2 tiny pumps, like that's not a lot of foundation. 1 pump of the Kosas IV because it makes the skin look so glittery. I like that. I know a lot of people don't like that. I loved it. So this is the Onisa Beauty foundation brush. It's one of my favorite brushes. I haven't used it in so long. I will say though, IV from Kosas is very, very, very dry. You have to work really fast to blend it in. Otherwise, it'll be like a patch of glitter in one spot. More hydration. Rare Beauty contour stick. I forgot my blurring stick. Put it on now though, maybe? Yeah, it's working. I want my face to look fresh, dewy, not full coverage. So I'm doing a tiny, tiny bit of concealer. Blending brush, and I'm gonna blend that in. I don't have my Anissa concealer brush. This is the step where I grab my mirror and then I bring it close to my face and I'm going to check that everything is blended in. There are no chunky bits. Oh, you see? I forgot the neck. Just because that's probably super dry now. A tiny bit of foundation and blend. For powder, I'm using the Rose from Laura Mercier. I'm going to, I guess it's gonna be kind of a light bake. We're wiping this off. I'm gonna put these brushes back because I like keeping my station clean as I work. A little bit of bronzer. This is from ColourPop. It's Pacific Beach. And I'm picking up just a really small amount on the brush. It's not that much. Light layers of everything. Now that we're starting on the eyes, I'm going to prime my lids with some concealer. Smoking Hot palette from ColourPop. A little bit of this one and then a little bit of this one. I'm gonna start blending it into the eye socket. Okay, this is the bad part about this jelly much is flaking off. I'm gonna try to focus more on the outside edge. I'm gonna dip into this hot chocolate shade. And then I'm just gonna go right into the lash line and smudge it in. That's what we're working with so far. I need a little bit more orange. I'm gonna use this blue shade from ColourPop because I wanna have some sort of color from Nicaragua. Okay, so I actually just remembered I wanted to do white in the waterline. Completely forgot about this. This is Half Magic. This is their Berries Are Real shade, and it's kind of just like a liquid glitter. I think maybe just in the center right here. Next, I have Lilac Lashes. These are, I think these are those like extension lashes. Oh, it goes underneath. I'm gonna like this. Glue. Oh wow, that was easy. And then you press. I'll just do bottom mascara. This is the color Papaya from ColourPop. I'm gonna take Kosas Cloud Set in the shade Pillowy. Run the brush through the powder, and then I'm just gonna set and kind of blend in everything. Do you see the difference or no? I see the difference. Lip liner from Iconic London in the shade TTYN. It's Vegas, I know it isn't. It's my favorite lipstick shade ever. It's from Kosas. Complimentary nude shade for olive skin tone. And then right over that, I'm gonna do High Cut, which looks a tiny bit more peachy. So pretty! I just realized the lilac lashes bring a crystal coat. So I guess this goes on top. It says, brush through lashes right after applying lilac lashes to remove stickiness and extend lash wear. I think I'm just gonna do both on the same section. Ouch, that's kind of pulling out. And now the other one. And look how much hair this is, you guys. Can't believe how affordable these were off of Amazon. This is a Flor Sacuanjoche. It's the traditional flower from Nicaragua. It's the national flower, so it matches with my eye makeup. Oh, I forgot I was gonna put more blue. So this goes here. Oh my God, so pretty. I have 3 necklaces. I'm gonna layer some. This is the Nicaraguan flag. One of the options is this one. I don't think it goes. And then the other option is this one. So I think, oh my God, this one is so beautiful. This is by a Nicaraguan designer. He makes all this beautiful, beautiful jewelry. So I think I'm gonna do, oh my God, that looks so good. I'm gonna do this one, map right there. And then I have my fan, my little purse. I got both of these at the Mercado. Kayali Yum Pistachio. Kayali Sweet Diamond, and Glossier You. Okay, I'm gonna blow dry my bang just out. And the final touch is gonna be, okay, we've got lipstick, lip liner, gloss, that's what I need. I'm gonna use this one from Anastasia. It's the Coral. Into this palette from ColourPop. It's called Rumor Has It, and I'm gonna dip into this blue right here. There we go. Okay, let me show you guys the bag. Look at the bag. It looks so good. Literally looks so much better than I thought it would. I actually forgot this scarf, which is also by a Nicaraguan designer. I don't know where to put it now, so maybe around here. Okay, I think it's
Story time. My boyfriend cheated on me with the girl best friend. So a little background information. I was 17 and a junior in high school, and my boyfriend and I had been dating for a year. But just a little backstory about when we got together. So there were definitely some red flags that I missed, okay? One of them being that he had a girl best friend. And I don't care what y'all have to say if that makes me insecure or what, but coming from someone who has been the girl best friend, I knew this was not good at all. especially whenever we first started dating and she was still being super friendly with him, meaning she would hold his hand, she would hang on him 24/7. And when I told him I was super uncomfortable with that and I felt like there needed to be some boundaries, he was like, yeah, I told you what it was whenever we got together. So if you don't like that, then just break up with me. Looking back on it now, that was also a red flag because I feel like he was telling me to break up with him so that way he didn't have to break up with me, like for part 2. Part 2 about how my boyfriend cheated on me with the girl best friend. So like I said, she would still hang all over him and he pretty much told me, if you don't like that, then you can leave. Obviously, I did not want to leave because I liked him and he was my boyfriend. So I just kept putting up with it, and eventually, we got 6 months into our relationship. So at that point, I'm thinking maybe I have a little bit more authority, to be like, hey, I don't like the way that she acts around you. You guys can't hang out like that anymore. And they would hang out alone together. He would take her to dinner, which I literally tried telling him that the stuff that they do together is relationship stuff. And he was like, that's not true at all because we did all of this stuff before you and I even got together. So anyways, like I said, 6 months in, I'm like, hey, I don't like the way that you guys are hanging around each other. Once again, he gives me the same excuse. So he pretty much said that he didn't care. And the one night him and I were supposed to hang out, but he canceled on me last minute. And her and I didn't get along and she never Snapchatted me before, but then I get a Snapchat of her and him making out at his house. Part 2 about how my best friend slept with my boyfriend on my birthday. So like I said, I woke up at around 1 a.m. to 20 Snapchat notifications from my boyfriend, and I saw the absolute worst thing ever. The first 5 notifications were just him calling me names, and then all the other ones were just him doing stuff with my best friend. And you guys can already guess what I mean by doing stuff. So at this point, I was heartbroken, I was pissed off, but of course, because I gotta have the receipts, I went and took a video off my sister's phone of everything that he sent me. In the morning, I woke up to a text from an unknown number, and it turned out to be my boyfriend's best friend saying that him and Sarah were now together. So my boyfriend asked me to meet up and apologize. So I met him at this park, and he apologized to me, telling me that he wanted to get back together with me. But I told him to KMA, and I left. Then Sarah came to my house and keyed my car, and then we fought on my front lawn. And then after that, she was texting me about how she was coming back to my house, like for part 3. Part 3 about how my best friend slept with my boyfriend. So like I said, she came to my house and she keyed my car, and I caught her, so I went outside. We fought on my front lawn. After she left, she kept sending me messages saying that she was coming back to my house so we could fight again, but she was blocked, so I didn't get any of the messages. And then my ex came to my house and brought me flowers. And this was all in a span of 1 day. So because it was my birthday party, my cousins were at my house, and I already told them everything that happened. So they went outside and they fought him. Well, then I ended up sending all the videos to his parents, her parents, his siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins who loved me. Then I also decided to take legal action, and I sent the cops all of the screenshots of Sarah harassing me. And my sister got a video of us fighting, so I sent that to them too. Well, since she was 18 and I literally just turned 16, she got 3 months in county jail for minor harassment and minor physical altercations. So in the end, I think I won.